Hello, welcome to Module 5 where we address food composition and food additives. In European Union legislation, food is defined as any substance or product that is intended for humans or can reasonably be expected to be ingested, whether processed, partially processed, or unprocessed. However, some substances are intentionally added to food for specific purposes. These substances are mainly food additives, food flavorings, and food enzymes. An additive is understood to be any substance that is not normally consumed as a foodstuff in itself, or used as a characteristic ingredient of a foodstuff, regardless of whether or not it has nutritional value, and the intentional addition for technological purposes to a foodstuff during its manufacture, processing, preparation, treatment, packaging, transport, or storage has the effect, or can reasonably be presumed to have the effect of making the additive itself, or its byproducts, directly or indirectly, a component of the food. As a result of this definition taken from the third article of Regulation 1333, 2008, the characteristics that a priori additives must fulfill are the following: it must not be normally consumed as food, it must not be used as a characteristic ingredient, the addition to food must be intentional, and must have a technological function, or have some type of effect on the food. The addition has the effect that the additive becomes a component of the food. Food additives must be designated by the name of their functional class, followed by their specific name, or E number. If an ingredient belongs to more than one category, the category appropriate to the main function must be indicated, in the case of the food in question. For example, in the case of a food such as potassium sorbate as a preservative, it may be declared in the ingredient list as potassium sorbate preservative, or E2O2 preservative. Elements that contain sulfites or sulfur dioxide in quantities greater than 10 parts per million are exempt from this rule, since, above that quantity, they are allergenic and as such, their name must be indicated and not their E number. The presence of an additive in a composite food is permitted not by direct addition, but by reporting the food ingredient used in the manufacture of the composite food, provided that its use in the specific ingredient is authorized. Additives present in the food due to transitions do not have to be declared if they do not play any functional role in the final product, with the exception of additives considered allergens. The use of additives, in accordance with Regulation 1333, 2008, is decisive for the marketing of both the additive and the food in which it is present, with an express prohibition on marketing, if the use is not in accordance with this regulation. In addition to the prohibition mentioned above, the regulation establishes two more types of prohibitions on use, that is, additives cannot be used in unprocessed products, nor in foods for infants and young children, in particular in dietetic foods for infants and young children intended for specific medicinal purposes. Despite the above, in both cases, the same exception is provided, that is, the possibility of using additives in these foodstuffs, provided that their use is provided for in Annex 2 of that same regulation. Likewise, only the food colorings listed in the same annex may be used for health marking. Flavorings are defined as products not intended for consumption, but are products that give them an odor or flavor, or alter their odor and flavor, consisting of the following categories, or consisting of the same flavoring substances: flavoring preparations, flavorings obtained by thermal processes, smoke flavorings, flavoring precursors, other flavors or flavor mixtures. Flavorings are generally used during food production, because the processes used frequently modify their organoleptic characteristics. Flavorings may contain food additives, or any other ingredients for technological purposes. The additives authorized for use in flavorings, as mentioned above, are listed in Part 4 of Annex 3 of the aforementioned regulation, the Regulation 1333, 2008. Finally, technological aids as substances, which are not consumed as food per se, are intentionally used in the transformation of raw materials, foodstuffs, or their ingredients, to achieve a certain technological objective during transformation treatment, and may even lead to the presence of intentional, but technically unavoidable, of the final product, of residues of the substance itself and its derivatives, provided that they do not present any risk to health and do not have any technological effect on the final product. Technological aids are related to additives. However, they differ from the previous ones in that the technological aids are not present in the final product, meaning they are not food ingredients. I hope you like and make use of this module.